Except where them hands, where them holes, where them throws, you know what I'm saying? Cecil.
Well, I have to apologize because when I use this particular laptop with this camera, it puts a dark spot in there. But I can't complain because it's free. What I am going to quote unquote complain about is this: the idea of marriage in the martial arts. One of, I guess you could say, one of my favorite martial artists. I have only made the acquaintance of this person. I think, met him once, maybe twice. And he may remember my name, but I really doubt it. I went to a seminar of his, something like that. And I brought a few of his products, and I reviewed some of his products. So, if you think I'm talking about you, I'm only talking about you if I've met you in person. And I know for a fact that you probably don't remember my name. If you're like, why is Cecil acting like I don't know who he is, then I'm not talking about you. If you're going, I think I met that guy, then I'm talking about you. So, but this is the thing. He put this out himself. So if you put out the news of your divorce in your mailing list, then I am talking about you, but not really in a bad way. In a way that this is a problem I want to solve, because the person I'm talking about, this is not the first time I've seen or ever heard of something like this. It's almost become a cliche. In fact, it's one of the styles I have a background in. In the style, I mean, they have an expression for it. That's how common it is. So I was saying to my wife, I was like, oh man, he said he's getting divorced. And she's like, that's why I told you not to be doing this and not to be doing that. I'm like, oh, here we go. But seriously though, it's like, it seems like everybody, or a lot of people who have gone beyond my level of ability, who are like on the next level from me, they have a hard time in their relationships. Now, I don't know if it's, if it's America has problems with relationships, the divorce problems in the West, relationships, feminism, blah, blah, blah. So, MGTOW, whatever. So that's just it. And this is just another example of where it's happening. Or if being in the martial arts truly puts a strain on your relationships. And if it can put a strain on your relationships, then how can you walk the balance? Now, I'm going to tell you, I used to just automatically think at first that being in the martial arts could possibly put a strain on your relationships, or was very highly likely, because every martial arts instructor for a while that I met was either single, or if they were in a relationship, some kind of relationship problem eventually happened, even in the course of me being their student. This happened for a while. I mean, I know that, especially when I was young, my attendance was extremely sporadic. I even got like a big gap when in training in traditional martial arts. But like the guy that taught me how to box, though, his wife was there. His wife was at the ring and everything. So that was probably the first time when I started thinking, well, I guess you can be married and learn how to fight. That's what martial arts to me was back then, learning how to fight. The only people who seemed like that they were really, really good, who didn't have that problem, were people who were young like I was, that could beat me up with no problem. But the people who learned from their father. So it had gotten in their family. So it seemed like if you could make it like a family style, or a thing that's passed on from one generation to the next, then it's a part of building your family. And, therefore you could reach a high degree of skill without risking your relationship. But eventually, after a while, as I got older, I met people who, you meet them, they've been married forever, and their wife, who's been with them forever, is still there, and it's actually a cute and beautiful thing. So, it seems to me, though, like they talk with you and they like to hang and stuff like that, but when it's time, I'm going home to my wife, and they gone. They gone. They gone home to be with Mrs. Sensei. And a lot of times you'll eventually end up seeing or meeting Mrs. Sensei at some point. any students who's been with me for a particularly, who's been with me longer than, I would say, than my latest class, who were with me in the Temple Hills days, pretty much all those students who were consistent, they've seen my wife if they haven't met her. They probably don't remember her name, but I know they've seen her. So we've still been together. I'm not saying it to brag or toot my horn. I'm saying this as, how in the world can you keep a relationship together? Can you keep a relationship together and it hit that level like Bruce Lee and beyond? And even look at Bruce Lee. If you've read Dragon and Bruce Lee, if you looked at Dragon and Bruce Lee story, it looked like they had some problems. All you have to do is do some Googling. And I mean no disrespect to Bruce Lee's family, but I mean, let's just face it. I had attributed that at first more to the temptations of fame coming on like a young guy. Because Bruce was pretty young and extremely charismatic, and he was in very good shape. I mean, he'd have to be Jesus Lee to really be able to resist the temptation that I'm sure was thrown at him. And that was something I'd seen too with a lot of other people that I'd read about them or Googled them, trying to find out, well, what was this particular martial artist like when they were young? Let me see if there's anything I can learn. Because, I'm not up in Hollywood. I'm not, on the tournament circuit. I'm doing this stuff and trying to have a job and a family. So let me see if I can even come close to what they got going on. And a lot of them, man, when they were young and in their prime and stuff, man, they had like problems, But then again, a lot of other people too have problems when they're young, their marriages can have problems just because of temptation. It's like if you are even remotely attractive, somebody's going to try to bust up what you got going on. But, and this is one conversation I particularly remember, and I'm not going to say who it was with. But I had a conversation with this one very accomplished, experienced martial arts practitioner. And I think he just told me out of love, hey man, just don't do the full contact thing like I did. Don't live on a tournament circuit like I did. Because he was telling me about like, my wife had to help me out of bed and stuff like that. I'd be so hurt sometimes. So, And he told me that because I said, it seems like if you're the type that chases the tournaments every weekend and you're trying to work a job too, it seems like, would drive a wife crazy. He just looked at me and said, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to step on any toes. Because I wasn't. It was just me inserting foot in mouth. I can almost get it there literally. But I do it metaphorically all the time. And, he just leveled with me. Yeah, it can. So don't do that. You said you're doing fine. Just keep going on your own path and blah, blah, blah. And that's what I'm doing. But then again, I know some martial artists that are like 8th, 9th degree, whatever, black belts. They immaculate technique, and they still got their wife. But then again, a lot of those guys, their kids ain't on it too. And that's something I think that really helped me out a lot. Is if you can make it a thing where it's you and you got the kids in it, or you got your wife in it too, the whole family's doing it, that seems to work really well. Or if you got it to where you take the kids, especially when they're little, out the house, and they get to jump and kick around. Especially if you do two styles like Taekwondo and Judo. You wear them out in Taekwondo, then you take them to McDonald's, and then you wear them out in Judo. When they come home, they're not bouncing off the walls because they're tired. And I think the wife appreciates that. So, hey, let's talk about this. Let's not let this be one of my 10-view videos. Let's seriously talk about this. Please put your comments below. I would prefer it if you made response videos to this, and I can make a playlist that we can all refer to, because I'm serious, man. Especially, I should have done this on Valentine's Day, since Valentine's Day just passed around the time of recording this video. This is the question. Can you reach the upper echelons of martial arts and be married to one wife? Even if you can't be married to one wife, can you be in the highest level of martial arts, get there, get that skill that we all want, and be married? Let me know. I think you can, if you're willing to be patient and you just gotta take a lifetime and your whole life to get there. I think you can do it, because I've seen some people do that They just in it for life. But if you're gonna be working and raising kids and then trying to do this stuff, how do you do it? Let me know so I can do it. Okay? Peace.